Hey Ayurveda Everyday with Talya. This is Talya, and I'm here for my weekly Facebook Live. Today, sometimes I take your questions, your direct questions. In fact, that's what I do most of the time for these Facebook Lives. So I'm answering the questions that members of this group are most interested in knowing the answers to. But sometimes I want to do a live just because it's what I personally am obsessed with at the moment. And most of you probably know this, but we're in the heart of spring and in the Western Hemisphere, and I'm in the middle of leading my RAD cleanse, my Radiance Ayurveda detox for the spring season. And one of the things that we talk about when we're cleansing the digestive tract is everything starts up here. It starts with your mouth. So over the many years that I've been an Ayurvedic practitioner, there have been clients that I've seen who have infections in their mouth. They have cavities, bacteria, that even when they're improving their diet and doing everything else right, because they have something going on with their mouth, it's not translating into a healthy gut. So this is a really huge issue. And if you or somebody that you know has leaky gut or chronic indigestion, this can be a really huge piece to think about and to add to your Ayurvedic daily self-care, which is what I call start from the top. It's really about mouth care, dental care. So, and also I'll say this, I am 46, and when I was 40, I started going to a new dentist. I'd been going to the same dentist for most of my life, over the hill in San Jose where I grew up, and he retired. So when I was about 40, I started seeing a dentist in Santa Cruz where I live who was like a, I don't know, more natural dentist. And they were like, you don't brush behind your teeth. And I can't believe I'm actually announcing this to the entire world, but I was never taught how to properly brush my teeth. So for 40 years, I was not brushing the backs of my teeth. I was doing other things, but I wasn't brushing the backs of my teeth. So anyway, so I learned to do that. And also, I just learned so much about my mouth, like with this new dentist. Learned how to brush my teeth properly, both sides, to brush my gums, like to energize and stimulate gum health. But as a Vata predominant person, even though I eat really well and I don't eat a lot of sugar, in fact, I eat very little sugar, my gums have been really affected, and the bone at the top, the top of the tooth bone where it's meeting the gum, I have a tendency to have demineralized enamel. And when I traced that back to Ayurveda, I found that that is a Vata symptom, to have the breakdown of your bone or your nerves. That's always a Vata issue. So that also inspired me to really increase my game around dental health. So here's what I want to share with you today. I want to share with you some of my most favorite tools and remedies for taking amazing care of your mouth. And part of this is, or not part of it, the main point of it is to improve your whole digestive system by starting from the top, by starting from the health of your mouth. And when I started doing this at age 40, even though I'd had a lot of digestive triumphs, it escalated even more. So I really feel like this is huge, and it's huge for a lot of my clients. Okay, so number one is the very first thing that you want to do in the morning is scrape your tongue. We all have an accumulation, a coating on the tongue that's most prevalent in the morning when you first wake up. Your organs, your internal organs, are doing the majority of their deep work while you're at rest. So the results, the excrement, if you will, of those organs processing and eliminating what they don't need shows up on your tongue. And if you don't scrape your tongue in the morning, then you're swallowing that, what we call ama, or accumulation. You're swallowing it and having to remetabolize it, which, if it's heavy and thick and toxic, can be quite a load on your digestive system. So you can totally eliminate having to remetabolize that gunk if you just scrape it off your tongue the first thing in the morning. So I recommend using a copper tongue scraper. I love these. Copper in Ayurveda is warming. It's the most kapha reducing because it's antibacterial, it's antimicrobial, and it's warm. So I've found that when I use a copper tongue scraper, it doesn't get all gross the way that a plastic one or even a stainless steel one does. So I really love the copper. But you reach all the way back, like you stick out your tongue, you reach all the way back and you just scrape. You rinse it under the sink, you go back, you scrape, you rinse, you scrape, you rinse. You do it 3, 4, 5 times. And every time you scrape, you'll see like this thick white, sometimes it's yellow coating on the tongue scraper. That's all this accumulation, this excretion from your internal organs that you don't have to swallow and remetabolize. So it's huge. And when I first started tongue scraping on the daily, my elimination increased, I don't know, 3-fold. It was really significant. Okay, and so then after you tongue scrape, and this is really the Ayurvedic, the order of things when you're doing, focusing on mouth care and mouth health. After you tongue scrape, so you don't want to swallow. When I wake up in the morning, if I have to go to the bathroom, I won't swallow my saliva until I start to tongue scrape, and then I'll clear it out. So you tongue scrape, you brush your teeth, you floss your teeth. If you do some kind of rinse after you brush and floss your teeth, that's the time to do it. So I really love adding some essential oxygen brushing rinse to my routine. Can you see that? Essential oxygen. This is a food grade hydrogen peroxide. It's great for just, oxygen is the most powerful anti-inflammatory that we have for ourselves. So you can really just reduce inflammation, helps whiten your teeth, reduces sensitivity of the gums. So I'll swish with that, spit it out, or I'll oil pull. And I get my oil pull, sometimes I get it from Pavani, but I just love Pavani, so I'm showing them off. They're one of my favorite Ayurvedic product companies. So they make an oil pulling formula that's just, what does it say? It's sesame oil, coconut oil, turmeric, bayberry, barberry, bringraj. Oh, it's a lot. Amalaki, clove, cinnamon, essential oil, cassia, and clove. So they put a lot of things in it. I make my own essential oil, my own oil pulling blend. And I'll even do this with Pavani's because I really like to feel the activity of the spices on my teeth, my gums, and my tongue. So sometimes the oil pulls that I'll buy, like they're too mild. I just don't like it. I like to feel a little bit of the spice. So what I do is I take either the one from Pavani or just plain sesame oil. You can use coconut oil. You can also use olive oil for oil pulling. I prefer sesame. I think it's the most traditional. It's the most warming. So that's the one that I use. But you can use other oils as the base. And then I'll add to a 4-ounce bottle of sesame oil. I'll add about 20 drops of On Guard, which is an essential oil blend from doTERRA that is cinnamon, clove, wild orange, rosemary, and eucalyptus. And so, the clove Clove is amazing for the gums. It's quite heating, so if you have an infection, it could be irritating. But in an oil pull, you're diluting the essential oil, so it's not the same as putting clove oil like right on your gums. And then myrrh is amazing for healing infections or sores in the mouth. It's much more cooling. So I'll also put 10 drops of myrrh in my oil pull. I'll try it, and if I want it to feel or taste more alive, I'll add more essential oils. But that's just what I do. And then this is something I got at the NAMA conference a few weeks ago, this Ayurveda from my friend Nirmal's company, Ayurveda. I haven't used it yet because I have so much other stuff that I'm getting through, but I'll report back. He says that this was amazing. And it was, it was like, his stuff was really potent. So I'll try that. But I'm not even done with what I do to care for my mouth. So keep listening, please. At the end of all of this, after you scrape your tongue, you brush your teeth, you floss your teeth, you do some kind of oral rinse if you want to. Then you want to drink a glass of water to flush your whole system. Just really quick, 8 ounces, plain water, warm water, whatever. And then I'll do some dental Sidin. Now this is this product is by my friend Rachel Fresco's company, Biobotanical Research. I carry all of her products on my website because they are so powerful for gut health. And she recently made one called Dental Sidin, which is a liposomal oral mouth rinse. And it's liposomal. So what that means is it's going to it'll be this antibacterial rinse for where you're swishing it in your mouth, but it's liposomal. It's going to go systemic. If it, like whatever the body can absorb, it's actually going antibacterial, antimicrobial into your bloodstream to help you clear out any pathogens or bacteria. That's how I understand it. I hope I'm saying it right. So I'll swish with that for like 20 or 30 seconds. So I don't just swish it and spit it out. I actually swish it and I swallow it because my mouth is clean at this point. So I just swish with it and swallow it. Now, what inspired me to share about this today is in Ayurveda Every Day with Talya, my free Facebook group, there was a question about what kind of toothpaste people were using and what is Ayurvedic. And people were talking about licorice root and neem. I think there was even an amalaki tooth powder, baking soda with various essential oils in them. And I love all of those things, and I've used all of them, and I love them. But my approach from an Ayurvedic perspective is, like the more I study gut health and the microbiome, which is the same thing as gut health in Ayurveda, the more I'm like, okay, like we want to try to go really deep when we can. So for some people, the neem and the licorice root and all of that is enough. I personally want something a little bit stronger. And when I have a client who has gut health issues, I want them to be using something stronger as well. So the same company, Biobotanical Research by my friend Rachel Fresco, who I plan to have on as a guest at some point very soon, is her toothpaste, which is called Dental Sidin. So what these two products have in common is they both contain BioSite. This is an herbal antibiotic that Rachel developed. I don't know, she's been developing it over the past 20 years, I want to say, maybe longer. But she historically sold that product, BioSite, to doctors who wanted to have an herbal antibiotic alternative to traditional Western medicine antibiotics. And there are studies done all over the place on her product line, and the results are just so extraordinary. And one of the things that got me into this is she showed me a study of people who were using the Dental Sidin toothpaste, which contains the BioSite, and then using the Dental Sidin rinse afterwards. I don't remember the statistics. Please forgive me. It's just not how my brain retains information. I don't retain that kind of information, but it was something like, I want to say it was something like a 60% reduction in cavities and inflammation of the gums. So I was like, I'll take it. And I've really been noticing how good my mouth feels. So we'll see what my dentist says. I haven't seen him in a while. I'm going to go see him in a couple months and we'll see how I'm doing. But you can also swish with the straight up BioSite, which is an herbal antibiotic. And that's what I used to do before she had the dental site. Anyway, hope this is inspiring and like turning on some light bulbs for you. A couple other things I want to show you are that I like to recommend for overall gut health is your stomach. Mouth is where everything starts. So when I say start from the top, I mean start from right here. So all these practices are to have the health of your mouth be as optimal as possible. So any food traveling through, it's not necessarily affected by something bacterial overgrowth going on in your mouth. You're clean. You swallow your food. The first organ to catch what you eat is your stomach. Your stomach is like the catcher's mitt of your digestive system. It's also the compost pile of your digestive system. So this is why overeating, one of the reasons why overeating is a problem, because if the stomach is a compost pile and you throw so much onto it, it can't turn over. It doesn't have enough space for wind and fire. The fire ideally is already present, waiting for the food to be catched, and the wind is leaving enough space for the compost pile to turn and churn and do its good work so that it actually then sends all of the food that you ate. It digests all of it and sends it to the next digestive organ, which is the small intestine. So sometimes we need a little help for the stomach as well. And again, this is why I love Rachel's products by Biobotanical Research, the BioSite, because it supports gut health all the way through, starting with the mouth, but then all the way through. So stomach is getting antibacterial support as well. And if you're needing like a little bit of extra, I want you to know about, someone was asking about acid reflux in our group. And a lot of people who have acid reflux, which is too much hydrochloric acid in the stomach, and it's being directed upward instead of downward, which is always the way you want things to go for your digestive system. You want them to go down. So acid reflux is this like fire that's rising in the body, and it creates a lot of inflammation, not only in the stomach, but in the esophagus and possibly in the mouth and around the teeth and gums. So a lot of people use antacids, and whatever, that's fine. But if you're getting something like Tums that are colored, and a lot of those ingredients are, preservatives and chemically based colorings, that's another toxin that you have to break down. So the cleaner your antacids, the better. So here's a few natural antacids that can also benefit the health of your mouth. So one is aloe vera juice. I think of aloe vera juice as a natural antacid because it's very bitter, and bitter is cooling to fire. So it helps to pull excess fire out of the body, and it promotes downward motion because the taste of bitter stimulates elimination. So aloe vera juice, you could do half a cup a day, even twice a day if you really had a strong acidic stomach. And then you can taper down. One thing we do, my teacher taught me, is for when people are using aloe vera juice, which is very strong, you can use it for like a week or two and then take a few days off, even a week off, and then do it again. And then just kind of keep taking a break, going back to it, taking a break. But what I love about aloe vera juice is it's very nourishing. So it's a bitter, but it's not a stripping bitter. It's a nourishing bitter. and that means it's not going to strip your digestive system. As it releases excess fire, it's going to support the mucosal lining, the mucin lining that we want to stay wet and moist and slippery. Okay, so aloe vera juice is a great natural antacid. Another one is fresh mint leaves. Now, this is great for the mouth because mint freshens your breath. And if you've had a lot of bacteria in your mouth for a long time and it's gone down into your stomach, which it's inevitable that it did, you're going to need to work on that for a while before it changes. So you can chew on fresh mint leaves. You can drink fresh mint water or fresh mint tea, which is literally just pouring room temperature or hot water over several sprigs of mint leaves. And the good news is we're in the middle of spring in the Western Hemisphere. Or the Northern Hemisphere. I don't even know what hemisphere I'm in. My brain does not retain information like this. I'll tell you, I rode my bicycle across the country in 1993. And, right, people would always say, the sun sets in the west. But I could never remember. In fact, I have so many stories like this. I have a terrible sense of direction. The sun sets in the west, but I could never, ever, ever remember that. So when I was like, I don't know which way is north or west or south or east based on where the sun is, I just never knew. But riding across the country, the United States, from San Francisco to Washington, D.C., I knew I was always going east. And every evening, the sun set behind me. That's how I learned the sun sets in the west. So I need it to be like hitting me over the head with a 2x4, like as obvious as possible. Anyway, whatever hemisphere I'm in, somebody can say in the comments if you want to, help me out. Mint is so easy to grow in your garden. In fact, it can take over your garden, so you might want to be careful where you plant it. But it's so easy to grow. You could even go borrow like a couple sprigs from a neighbor, put it in a cup of water so it grows some roots, and then plant it. And then you've got fresh mint that you can just pull from, chew on the leaves, chop it up fresh, put it on top of your food, or pour water over it to make your fresh mint water, fresh mint tea. And the final thing I want to share is doTERRA is an essential oil company. I think most of you know who they are. But they make a product called Digest Tab. And what they did is they took, what's that called? The calcium carbonate, the same base as Tums, but it's pretty clean. There's no fillers or, they're not adding a bunch of stuff to it that's, there's nothing artificial in it. And then they add their essential oil that's called Digest Zen to the little tablet. So there's anise, peppermint, ginger, caraway, coriander, tarragon, and fennel essential oils on these little digest tabs. They taste so good, and they really freshen your breath. So that's another thing you can use, not only for mouth health, gut health, like especially starting from the top, but also just if you want to freshen your breath. That's something that I carry with me when I travel, and that's what I use instead of gum or breath fresheners. So that is what I have for you today. I'm going to call this Start from the Top. And I have a super special gift for you also, so thanks for watching. I created a little coupon code for those of you who watched this video. It's called Start from the Top. That's the coupon code, all in capital letters. And if you take that coupon code into my Ayurvedic shop, which you'll find at either ayurvedaeveryday.shop, or you can just go to my website, Talya's Kitchen, and go to the shop that way. That will give you 10% off all of the products that I talked about today that I sell in my store, which is most of them. I think the only one I don't carry the brushing rinse, and I don't carry Pavani's oil pulling formula yet. And then thanks, Talya, I came to Home Goods to do some retail therapy, but this popped up, saved me money, and helped me let go of some anger. Oh, that's awesome. Rad. All right, well, I'm going to go ahead and save this video. I'll put the coupon code in the, the notes so that you can just click on it and go straight to my shop if you were inspired and you want to get any of these awesome things and start creating your own mouth care routine Ayurveda style. I highly recommend it. It feels so good. I just feel so much more confident about my mouth. So thank you. And if you're watching this on YouTube, thank you for watching. You're welcome to join our group on Facebook. It's totally free. Ayurveda Every Day with Talya is the name of the group. We'd love to have you. And I'll see you next time. Bye.